I think I've finally gotten to the point where tomatoes are coming off the menu.
Really?
Yeah, man. It's every time I eat them, man, I'm just dying. Like it's killing me right now. I had some veggie enchiladas that I made, and I am dying. This acid reflux is killing me. Ugh.
As we get older, you know, it seemed like
It don't help
start checking shit off.
my stress levels are all through the roof. That doesn't help with it either.
With the house, I'm sure.
Dude, house, baby mama.
Oh.
Yeah.
She know about the new gig? Oh, we'll talk about it afterwards.
Look, I got a letter from the government the other day. I opened and read it. It said I was a sucker. Shout out to Chuck D. I know I flipped that lyric just a little bit on the end there, but
yeah. Yeah. All right. You ready?
Yeah, man.
All right. Let's do it.
I think
Hey, I'm supposed to count down, aren't I?
Yeah.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes, folks. 3, 2.
I think you need to say clearly what happened.
Who gives a fuck? I don't care if you personally kick Candace Owens and her stinky
cray.
No good thing starts with, I was thinking about my ex.
He ain't learned his lesson. That's a brother ain't gonna learn shit.
I know this is gonna be unpopular and I don't care. Let's keep this shit funky.
Welcome. What's unpoppin'? What's going on, good people? Welcome to the Unpopular Opinion Show, or Unpoppin' Show, home of unpopular opinions. I'm T Storm, and joined by, as always, my brother DJ Mike Swift. What's happening?
What's going on? And on the way in the door, please pay the admission. Hit the subscribe button, like if you like the content, and leave a comment. Leave a dislike if you don't like the content. And Tia, it's something I found out that we got to go back to the drawing board on. I found out that YouTube kind of pings you a little bit if you use curse words within the first certain amount of the video. We got two curse words in our intro.
In the intro. Yeah. And you know what's funny? I was just thinking about the intro and about revising it anyway, because most of the voices in there have been in some sort of scandal. The last, well, not scandal, but there's Chappelle, there's Will Smith, there's Jada's voices in there. You know what I'm saying? So maybe it's time to switch it up anyway. So
yeah, let's do it. Season 3 will officially start in June, end of June.
June. God
so let's switch it up for the third year.
Third year, doing this shit. Mind you, we started this in the middle of a pandemic. It's 3 years in. Damn. We started. I said New York. We're going through the was it the fifth wave? I think they said it's the 5th or 10th. One of the two. It feels the same. I can't tell the difference. It's the COVID numbers are rising again with this new subvariant, and I don't want to talk about it because it gives me the heebie-jeebies. But the mayor in New York, he was just recently diagnosed. He tested positive for COVID. Yeah.
Well, in Georgia, we going through wave it by, because like folks don't even put their mask on no more, man. Outdoor concerts, barbecues at the house. Like people acting like it's 2018. That's what they doing.
Yeah, in Georgia, y'all in the third Marvel universe. It's completely separate from what the rest of the world is going through. But yeah.
Yeah, they not that we even set out to talk about this, talking about Georgia being in a different Marvel universe. They are about to pass a law that makes concealed carry legal. So having to get a permit to conceal carry, they're like, nah, just get your gun and go get your gun like it's 1883 and get out there and do your thing. Man.
Wild West.
It's going to be wild out here in these streets.
Maybe it'll calm shit down. Because if I don't know if you carrying, maybe there might, slow up, the human nature of trying somebody. You know what I'm saying? So it's everybody carrying.
It's some saying, and I'm sure I'm gonna butcher this. It's a well-armed population is the best thing for peace, or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody walking around don't know who got what. It makes you, excuse me, sir. Thank you, sir. Sorry, sir.
Right. You exercise your mind just a little more.
You won't be able to pull a Will Smith.
Well done.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's what they call a segue.
Yes, absolutely. So speaking of which, the Oscars, the Academy has spoken, and by now you've seen it. He's been suspended. I won't even call it suspended. Banned from any of the activities for the next 10 years. He had already resigned, not resigned, but withdrew. How do we say he left?
Resigned
the Academy,
is fine.
basically.
He left. Yeah, he bounced.
Resigned. But the way I understand it, so him being banned, he can still be nominated. He can still win an Oscar. He just can't go collect. He can't be on the property. He basically got shit. I'm having COVID brain right now. God damn it. But
proxy.
Well, he can't be on the. Yeah, he can't be on the property for the next 10 years. SNL's made a statement like, is that really a punishment? Having to not being able to sit through a 4-hour. Is that really punishment?
Like the punishment really would have been to make him go to every single one of them.
Everyone, you got to be there and take the jokes.
See, I had one right there. It was right.
That's it. And them handcuffs, gotcha. So anyway, so that's happened. I saw online some of my friends said he got more in trouble than the insurrectionists. So, well, that just means that the people at the Oscars should have been in charge of the insurrection trials. That's what that means. But so that's happened. I saw a headline. I didn't read too much into it because it's kind of fatigued talking about it. But I saw a headline where where Chris Rock said he's not talking about the slap until he get paid. Don't know what that means. If that means he's with lawyers or he's going to sell the story to one of the networks that want to talk to him, or what is it? I'm not sure what that means, but if he said it, I'm sure he meant it.
Well, I mean, like what? I'm trying to understand a scenario where he'll get paid for this, right? Like, is some producer somewhere saying, let's make this the movie of the week, and do an 1.5-hour movie about the slap? Like, I'm not understanding, dude. Just, I mean, if you don't want to talk about it, I can feel him not wanting to talk about it, right? Like, don't speak on it if you don't want to speak on it. That's fine. And in fact, I would respect that, but until you get paid for it, that seems weird.
I take it as it might have been more of another joke. You know what I mean? That basically I'm not talking about it. Or he's going to sell it to Law and Order. And they'll do the story about it.
They'll twist it around and make him a rapist or something.
It'll be something wild. Or maybe it'll happen in the first 5 minutes and that won't even be about them. It'll be something else, how they make them curveballs. But
yeah.
The interesting story about, that's further development, if you want to call it that, was this footage that resurfaced of Will and Jada in their home, and his wife is recording him, and he seems very uncomfortable with what's going on. I'll play the audio. For those who are listening, you won't see this, but you can at least hear what's going on. You have to describe the facial and body language of Will Smith and Jada at the time. So if you're in the home, she starts this camera.
Esther Perel is coming to the table. She's going to be at the red table.
He looks
Would
over,
you say she has
scratches
been
his face.
instrumental in you and I redefining our relationship?
I would say don't just start filming me without asking me
Oh my goodness.
if you could film me.
Astaire, come help us again, please. I'm still dealing with foolishness.
Because she don't just.
Would you say that she helped us heal the hurts that we caused between one another?
My social media presence is my bread and butter, okay? So you can't just use me for social media and not, don't just start rolling. I'm standing in my house. Don't just start rolling.
And then it's her fate.
Please watch us stare at the red table because she's helped us a lot. Can't you tell?
That's so disrespectful. That is so disrespectful. And if you've not seen the video before, if you've not seen his body language, his facial expressions, everything is like, ugh. Like it's, and who knows what took place before she even started rolling camera. You know what I'm saying? And then she puts it on him and he's like, he's trying to exercise some restraint. I see him scratch his face. There's a body language expert broke it down way better than I can. But even down to the eye, like his eye twitched a little bit and, he winced his teeth and a bunch of things going on and, in his facial expressions. He doesn't look happy about it at all.
And he shouldn't be.
Right.
He shouldn't be happy about it. I mean, it was worse than just recording. She was going live, right? Like if she recorded it and he wasn't feeling it, she would, even though her response and everything to his hesitation to being recorded or put on camera was negative. She could have did what she did, talked to him about it later and said, you know what? I'm going to junk that. Let's record something together when you're ready and we can put it up, right? But she just went live. And then when he was like, yo, don't do that, then she tried to shame him. For not wanting to do it. Like
foolishness.
Yeah. Like that man don't have a right to make any kind of decisions about his life, man. Dude, the more and more I see about her, because that wasn't the only video that came out like last week. It was another one where he was explaining what he did for her 40th birthday, I think it was.
I remember seeing that a while ago.
Set the whole thing up and had Mary J perform and had a documentary done about her life and all of this stuff. And instead of saying thank you, she said that was the most foolish display of your ego or something like that. And I was just like, oh my God. And then and what was worse than her saying that, he agreed. It has gotten to the point where he doesn't even see his own value in what he is bringing and the kindness in what he's doing for her. He's living through her narrative. God bless that brother. It was another one. I'm sorry. I'm just because this, I too am tired of talking about it, but it gets under my skin something awful.
So what do you think? Where do you think this goes? I mean, there's the public scrutiny. There's everybody speculating. Everybody, you know what I'm saying? And we've done our fair share of
for sure
Smith jokes here. You know what I mean? Back with the entanglement and all that. But for the most part, I think we were pretty respectful. I think so. Nothing that wasn't,
I'll have to go back and look back at the tape.
I remember especially when the August Alsina thing jumped off, and it was alleged that Will knew about it or whatever the case, right? And I'm like, well, if he knew about it, and if he was, it was the young boy that put them on Front Street, and if that was that was their business, it wasn't for him to put out there. And basically, whatever they had agreed on, whatever their agreement was, if there was an agreement or unspoken agreement, he violated by talking about it.
100.
It's the side piece rules. Thou shall never be the main. You know what I'm saying? Thou shall never speak on this. All those sort of things. In any case, all that to say, where do you think this goes? You know what I'm saying? I personally, I don't think, I don't see that brother leaving his wife.
No.
I think, they joke about it, but I think they're dead serious. They made this pledge, bad marriage for life. That's a horrible, horrible sentiment. That is a horrible sentiment. You know what I mean? Like you don't deserve to be in a happier situation. Bad marriage for life. Okay. In any case, what do you think?
Where do I think it goes? Do I think? Okay, so ultimately, I think it is, I think what they're doing is not going to be long-term sustainable. So I do think it will end. I do not think it will end anytime soon. And let me also say this. This is what I think and not what I hope. I hope that they can figure something out, work it out, get their relationship into a space that's healthy and respectful for all parties involved, and live out the rest of their days, gumming bananas in the rocking chairs, right? Like that thing. I hope they make it to the finish line together. That's what I hope. But if things continue the way that they are, I don't think that will happen, because it's only the thing that I've heard echoed the most from the slap is it's only so much a person can take before they snap. People will apply that to Will Smith's behavior about jokes about his wife, but they won't apply that to him in the marriage that he's in, where he is constantly, visibly, and publicly disrespected. I think it's only so much a person can take before he just quietly moves on. I don't think it'll be a big public thing. I definitely don't think it'll happen now, right? Because it's a certain amount of pride associated with making a marriage work and withstanding the pressure from without to make sure that within is holding. So I think he is just going to deal with it and suck it up in the short term. But if it continues down this path, if it continues to get worse and worse and worse, then I think they'll just quietly separate. They'll be apart for a few years before the world finds out that they've been divorced for like 5 years, right? I think it'll be a quiet, private thing. But you can't, it's kind of like, let's flip it around. If he was out in the streets running around on his wife, it's only going to be so long that she's just going to hold him down and be ride or die, right? At a certain point, she's going to be like, you know what? Enough. Every human has that point, and I think he's approaching it. I mean, the thing came out that she cried on the way down the aisle when they were getting married. It's like she didn't want to get married.
Yeah.
Didn't want to marry.
And I guess she was pregnant at the time. I think if I understand it correctly.
Yeah. Said her mom forced her to get married, but she didn't want to get married. And then it came. They started dancing with semantics. Well, I wanted to get married, but I didn't want to have a wedding. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's just I didn't want Will to do that. I don't need him to protect me. Like the one thing that he took pride in from that whole mess was being, big man protecting his wife. Right. And then she goes, I didn't need you to do that anyway. Right? Like dudes, fellas, I'm sorry, and I hate to be this person. If you have to get good at discerning what's going to be good for you in the long term. So you put time on it. Don't go to the 5-star restaurant immediately. Don't lead with your wallet. Don't fall in love right away. And I use fall in love, and I put air quotes on that for everybody who's listening. Because in the first 90 days, that's lust anyway.
That's the air quote sound effect, by the way.
You just be more discerning. Be slow to hire, be quick to fire, and if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna take that risk, and by take that risk I mean get married, just be sure, man, and make sure it's somebody that respects you.
I can't. It's hard. Okay, I'm being married myself. I can't. I don't think it's. I can't really speak on their situation as we can all speculate and what I would do, what you would do, and all those different things. But I think if I've learned anything about, and this year makes 10 years for me and my wife. 10 years legally married. We've been together longer. Wife has all those dates. I don't. But we've been together married for 10 years. What I've learned is it's a very personal thing. It's not a one size fit all for all relationships. The advice you get from one married couple may not necessarily apply to you. And it certainly doesn't apply from single people. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where I think if they are really, going to die hard with this bad marriage for life thing, joke or not, we're not, I've heard, we've heard them say like, there's no getting away from this. We're going to ride this out to one of us, is no longer on this earth. I mean, whatever that is for them, it has, I think it's a personal choice and thing that, you know, if they're both into it like that, then that's what we'll see play out. And I can't really speak on saying, no, that brother should leave. If it were me, I don't think I would have, I don't think I could have taken as much. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's not me. And yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
So I agree with you mostly.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there are things that are unhealthy. Don't get me wrong, but you know, it's hard to.
So I'm gonna get a little all over the place here, so please bear with me.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I hear people do a lot, like a lot of people don't like generalizations, right? And they say, well, it depends, and I'm speaking very specifically to the part where you say marriage is personal, right? And it's different for different people, whatever.
Absolutely.
That is true. However, as a society where we have decided to live together, right, within close proximity of one another, on a whole, whether we sat down in a room and did it and signed a piece of paper, or we just move a certain way, we've agreed that certain behavior is not okay, right?
Right.
I think that gets exasperated when you start talking about loved ones. So I'll take me and you, for example. If Kaylee was just dogging you, like if I was up in Brooklyn and went to the bodega and I saw Kaylee holding hands and there was some dude, I'm not just gonna say, well, that's what's going on with them, and that's fine. I'm gonna call you and be like, bro,
yeah,
you know, what's popping, right? Because in the microcosm of our relationship as friends, I'm like, I'm concerned, and then in the macro of what we have decided is proper behavior, not cool. When you get married, you generally speaking, you stay with one person. Again, you know, it's personal and there's variance from that, but that's the general rule. That's why people get some kind of way when they see that kind of stuff.
Right.
How I think that applies to Will Smith. Will Smith has been at a level of popularity and visibility where people feel like that's their boy. That's their role model. That's their friend. Mm-hmm. So when they see him hurting, it's hard to not have an opinion about that. Do I think people, if it were someone less loved, I don't think people would be this kind of way about it. I certainly know that I wouldn't. But it's just, I see a good man being mistreated. That's the nicest word I could find for it, because I had one way worse loaded. I see a good man being mistreated, and I don't like it, and I don't like the example that it sets for people going into a relationship, especially for so many years. This was relationship goals. This is what people aspired to, and now are people going to suddenly say, "Oh, that ain't what I want," or are they going to say, "This too is acceptable in a relationship"?
I think, I mean, again, that is the relationship goals thing is a problem, because you never know what what's going on behind closed doors. We don't know what's really happening you know, we see little bits and pieces here, and it doesn't seem like it's great at all. Setting relationship goals and looking at especially celebrity and modeling after that could be problematic. You know what I mean? It still boils down to, there's no one size fit all. And I getting back to, you know, what you're saying, if it were me and you know, obviously if you see someone being mistreated and you have an affinity for them, if you feel some kind of way about it, and, you know, as a friend, you say something about it, right? But then that it still goes back to that person and their relationship, and if they decide, no, it's worth working it out.
Look, I am with you on that part, because I have seen that happen in some of the relationships of people that are close to me, where infidelity was exposed, and they worked it out. And honestly, they were better for it. So I'm not saying that if there's infidelity, a marriage can't come back from that. It's just
Right.
how much is too much, right? How
I'll
much
tell you-
disrespect is too much.
It's funny. So one my eldest cousins, and I've spoken about them on the show before. I'll use their names: Cousin Hattie and Cousin Sills. They both have passed on. But they were married for 60 some odd years.
Woo.
Yeah. And I had my wife and I had the pleasure of sitting at the table with them and just talking, and they just passed on some jewels and stuff to us. And they talked about, their relationship and how they, how they made it that far, that long. At one point, Cousin Hattie told me she put her husband's stuff out the door. She had his stuff waiting, but they made it through that. You know what I mean? But there was one thing that she said, and at first glance, it's like, yeah, right. But I kind of understand what she meant by it and why she would say it. She said to my wife, unless you see it, it ain't happen. Don't go by what other people's telling you. Somebody telling you that I saw him doing that. If you didn't see it, if you didn't witness it, if you didn't find, it didn't happen. And obviously, there's things you can take away from that. But the bottom line, basically, it's your marriage is your business.
Yeah.
Right. And the more people you let into the details of your business, the more problematic it can be. And I think that's one of the things that we're witnessing in real time, that they have been things have become so public.
You're being very kind. You wanted to say she has become so public. So you didn't want to say it. I said it.
Yeah. So, with that said, I wish them the best. We'll see, unfortunately, we will see this play out, whether we want to or not.
Agreed.
And it may or may not be a good thing, but we wish them both the best. So that's
Will done started some stuff, bro.
Yeah.
Will done started some stuff. Will walks up on the Oscars and slaps, and everybody done lost their mind. And I don't even know who the tennis players are, but I saw a video earlier in the week where one of the two tennis players, they walk over to the net to shake hands. Is a thing that you do after a tennis match. Everybody does it. When the guy reaches out, shakes his hand, the other guy slaps him. He just slaps him.
Right.
Saw a video.
As he's shaking his hand.
Right. Congratulations on the win. What? Another video of a fight at NASCAR, just to prove that it ain't only black people, for people saying that this only happens in the black community. That ain't true.
Right. Yeah. And why? But hey, what's so weird about that situation? One dude still had his helmet on. The dude that didn't have the helmet on is the one that squared up.
Yep. Squared up on him, pushed him. And the other dude was kind of like, hey, hold on, bro. And it got buck wild. It just got buck wild right at there on the NASCAR track. So I think everybody is losing their minds
with a helmet on. That's the crazy. Yeah.
I was waiting for him to throw a punch, a headshot, but he didn't. He's smart because he would have broke his hand in that helmet.
Everything.
People are losing their mind. And it seems T.I. joined the group of people who just decide they can run up on stage and lose their mind.
Yeah, T.I.'s, and he got some karma right behind that. So I saw this video, like many have. It picks up with the young lady. I don't know. I can't remember her name. It was a comedian.
Lauren Knight, I think, is her name. Let me double check that to be certain.
Yeah, and
yes, it is Lauren Knight.
Okay, so he's at an open mic, and she's I guess she had said something he didn't like. T.I. was in the audience. he had been on stage, and for not understanding, he was heckling her, and so she snapped and she cracked a joke about the allegations.
So
And
to be very specific, because I went back and I watched it and I laughed. I think she's funny. I like she's got good. She seems like a funny person, but she hosts an open night. I think it's Atlanta Hour Bar or something here. It's like a Monday night open mic night for comedians. He came in and did 30 minutes. He did 30 minutes.
At an open mic, that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. I mean, first of all, it's open mic, so you're going to have some people in it that's not so funny in the first place. But to sit there through a 30-minute set that's not proven or whatever, that's torturous. That's torture. And I'm sure the only reason he got away with it because he was T.I.
Because it was T.I. So he comes in, he does 30 minutes, he ends his set, she gets on, and she's moving on and doing her thing, and he's heckling. He's heckling her. And in the heckling, he tells her to take off your wig. And I think she let it go a couple times. He kept saying it, calling her the B word. And she finally says back, "I'll take off my wig when you address them allegations." And that was when he lost it. He goes up to the stage. Somehow he got a mic. Somebody gave him a mic. So she had a mic, he had a mic, and he's doing his thing. T's running the audio.
I'm gonna check your mouth as long as it takes. When you stop talking about it, when you stop playing with me and mine, I'ma stop saying something. Ain't no mother case, ain't never been no mother case, cause I ain't did nothing wrong, and my wife ain't did nothing wrong.
Clearly, it triggered him.
Yes.
Whatever the joke was, it triggered the hell out of him. They ultimately cut his mic finally because she runs the spot. She gains control again and goes back talking. He goes back up there messing with her. It was like all these dudes. Nobody ran up on him like, yo, man, stop.
I saw security kind of come around, but they didn't do anything.
Let me make another thing clear. We don't come on stage to disenfranchise nobody or to on nobody, especially no black people. So y'all won't put that on my body. On God, y'all won't put that on my mother body. I love this art form. I love this craft, and I'm gonna say what the get the out of my face. I'm gonna say what the I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, she got
So she
very
got-
emotional at the end and popped off and did her thing or whatever. He was 100% in the wrong. If you can't take a joke, don't go to a comedy show. If you can't take being clapped back on, don't heckle. I would never go to a comedy show and heckle somebody. Whether they funny or not. I don't want that smoke.
Yeah. I mean, I've heckled before, but I had a joke back. I helped along somebody that was already bombing. It was one of those things. But yeah, if you can't take the joke, if you can't to inspire someone to snap back at you is basically what you're doing. You know what I mean? But in any case, he ultimately apologized. They did a video together with him apologizing to her. And, I guess they're cool now. He made some sort of statement like, he's like, I never called you a bitch. If you could find where I called you that, I'll give you, what he said, $1 million, something like that.
$1 million, yeah.
And she posted it up. Here it is.
And then said, run me my money.
Right, run me my chips.
Hey, man. Hey, I ain't got nothing but love for you. I ain't got nothing but some integrity. Love and respect for you. I think you have an incredible amount of integrity. And I think you handled yourself with integrity in this moment. And I think it's an incredible opportunity for us to be an example for other people who have discrepancies. Period. You know what I'm saying? Had disagreement.
Yeah. So, yeah, he did that. And kudos to him for apologizing. You know what I mean? Where he did do something else that I thought was pretty interesting. He performed in Brooklyn.
Wait until that absolute moment where she has to, number one. And what you do is
You drive up to a nice fancy gas station and tell her this the gas station with heated seats in it. You let her get out, you go in that goddamn gas station. If she come back out that goddamn gas station and say them seats wasn't heated, that's not the mother one she sat on that gas station toilet seat. That is for the streets. I'm telling you now. Any respectable woman in this mother know, you go to a public restroom, you cop that awkward mother spot, and you got there pull your pants down, not past your knees, don't want to touch the pissy floor. If she don't do that, don't you bring that home.
He got a laugh on that.
He got a couple of laughs, but mostly jeers and boos. Like they're booing the hell out of him for a while. And this is like a 10-minute video.
I watched the whole set. He did about 8.5 minutes of jokes. You know, and I hate the Monday morning quarterback, but I'm going Monday morning quarterback. And I will preface it by saying kudos to him for having the courage to do it. I ain't got that courage.
Listen, I mean, so he's getting booed. He's in Brooklyn. Understand? New York is a rough crowd.
Yeah.
I've not been booed. I got worse. I just didn't hear nothing. I'm throwing a joke out there and gotten this. Like, okay. So that's worse. At least he knew they was still there. That's all. Nobody left the building. It was, hello? Okay, this is not working. All right, let me not tell that again. So in any case, so he gets to the end of the set and he goes, you know, I got an advantage. And he has the DJ throw on one of his joints and he performs that and he gets the crowd gets into that, the music, and that's where the video ends. I did see him he went live with Blackson. What's his name?
Michael Blackson.
Michael Blackson, and he addressed getting booed.
When the mother came on, everybody got the whole energy changed. Whole energy changed, and then right when it was my turn to rap, I cut the song off. Say, I wish I would for you, ungrateful motherfucker. Ain't no fucking way. Everybody stood on their feet, started clapping.
Because that was funny. What do you mean?
That was funny, yes.
Because that was funny. The other punchlines didn't hit. But he did explain that other comedians, other seasoned comedians told him, hey, bro, you doing this, you're going to get booed.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not. He said, oh, no, you're going to get booed. He said, Dave Chappelle has told him, like, countless other comedians. And it's one of those things. You're going to catch a brick. And he finally caught one, you know, in Brooklyn.
Look, like I said, I saw the set. I actually think he had some pretty good jokes.
Pretty good premises.
It was
because I didn't hear the punchlines.
Well, I watched the whole set. I watched the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And definitely, yes, some good premises and a few good jokes. But I feel like T.I. is a little bit too intense. Like, his curse words aren't funny. They make me nervous. Yes. Yeah. I was like, if he just kind of relaxed and got a little more silly with it, it would feel funny. And then the other thing that I thought, and I'll shut up about it after this, is I think some of his premises were out of touch with the audience. He was talking about being a star and that kind of thing. And I think that's where he really started losing people, because they didn't boo him at first. They were just kind of with him a little bit. And then when he started getting into that material about being a star, that was when they was just like, nah, we ain't feeling this. And they kind of checked out and started booing him.
Boo, nigga. Get your ass off stage.
Look, I've been booed.
Listen, I think maybe he takes himself a little too serious on, in the stand-up world and I think he's approaching it as a rapper. You know what I mean? I think might be part of, he's approaching it as T.I. the rapper and not T.I., who has a great sense of humor. Let me crack some jokes and be silly with y'all. I think you're right. The cussing comes off, how he cusses may come off a little, little harsher than it need to be. You know what I mean? But I mean, there's no rule book to it. If you figure out something that works for you, works for you. That didn't work. You know what I mean? But hey, listen, if he continues with it, I'm sure he'll grow back. He'll grow through it.
I think that entire set, if he continues to massage and work that material, I think that entire set that he did could really be funny. He's just got to, it didn't feel like he worked it out all the way. It just didn't feel like he worked it out all the way. But again, kudos to him for getting up there and doing it.
Shout out to my homie Steve Wilson. When I first started doing comedy, I was encouraged to go for it, to do it, right? And so I started doing the open mics and moving around, and then unexpectedly I got my first shot on a big stage, Caroline's on Broadway. I wasn't ready, but I couldn't say no.
Right,
so I did it and caught a brick, son. Caught a brick. I never forget that Thursday. That was Thursday night, opening for Tommy Davidson. Caught a brick. And while I'm backstage looking at my wounds, Tommy was like, all right, how'd it go? I'm like, okay, come back tomorrow. Okay, I can't say no. I got to do it. So Friday I came up and I did it, and that was much better. I massaged my material and had a better outcome. And, although my material at the time wasn't really great at all, my presence on stage kind of helped me through it. All that to say, my man Steve Wilson told me, your first 100 shows don't count.
Fair enough.
Your first 100 don't count. You know what I mean? So he said, it's different because it's T.I., who we know, who's a great performer, has hit records and, movies and all that type of shit, right? But he really needed to approach it like, if he's going to do stand-up, he got to approach it like Marlon Wayans did. Marlon took it serious. You know what I mean? And is really good at it now. Not just riding off his brothers.
Right.
He took it serious. You know what I mean? So,
and look, and I'll say this too, in his defense, the bar is set a little bit higher for him because of his celebrity. I think,
Absolutely.
I don't think people look at him and say he just started doing comedy. People look at him and say it's T.I. So they just expect like he's going to be good. And that's just not how actually anything works. You're not good when you start at it. It takes
He was
time.
funny in Ant-Man. He was funny in Ant-Man. Yeah, okay.
He wasn't really that funny in Ant-Man. Michael Pena was hilarious in Ant-Man. T.I. wasn't that funny.
Yeah.
I enjoyed his performance, but he wasn't that funny.
Before we break out, shout out to my son Tyler. I'm learning there's a new language that I guess that keeps evolving. These damn acronyms. We texted back and forth the other day. And he texted me something like he said LML. And the rest of them, like, because I said something, he was like, I'm like, okay, I understood the rest of what he texted, but what the hell is LML? And he laughed at me for it. And it was like, laughing mad loud. This is what it means.
That's very specific.
LML.
Okay.
Not LOL, LML, laughing mad loud. I'm like, okay, yeah, these acronyms are OOC, out of control.
They're DAF. I'll let y'all put that one together.
He said something like, "Oh, that's ASL." I'm like, American Sign Language.
That was corny as fuck.
It was very corny, but that's the first thing I thought.
It was like, great. It was great. I love it though. I love it.
Yeah, that's not what it meant. It was as hell is what it's supposed to be. I'm like, there's no H in the acronym. This is stupid. But thank you, Tyler, for keeping me hip and breaking down the new language or whatever. I also had an opportunity All right, so I've been working out. Started this is what, my second month now? Second month straight. I'm losing some inches and down 13 pounds so far. On my
Nicely
way.
done.
I noticed I can fit certain shirts brand new shirts that I stopped wearing because they was fitting like, it was Tahir's shirt. My son, my 5-year-old, it felt like I was wearing his clothes. So I stopped wearing the shit.
You had a box full of spandex t-shirts.
Man. Like I put it on one day and I felt that shit was like this. It was like, okay, yeah, no, can't wear this. Took that shit off.
You want to show off your nipples? Like what was?
I'm showing off my navel because basically they didn't come all the way down. Like, okay, this ain't gonna work.
He had on a shirt so tight. He was like, "Can you see my new tattoo through the shirt?"
Through the shirt, right? Like, Storm, is that hair in your shirt? No, we can see the chest hair print. Like, why you having?
It's the cotton follicles are struggling.
Right.
Oh my
so in any case,
God.
I'm fitting some of my new clothes better, which is that's great. But the working out, my muscles and everything I was like really tense and hurting and pain and whatever, and I'm saying I need to go get a massage. So finally I found a spot and we had made some time the other night and went and got a massage, this Asian spot. Now it's not one of those spots because I had an episode some years ago where I took my mother-in-law, my wife, we all got massages. Like it was just random in the city, walked in the spot. And after the massage, she tells me to turn over and she patted my crotch. I'm like, hey, no, I'm no.
Is that the international sign for happy ending? Like, is that what that is?
Right. I guess so. I don't.
Quick little crotch pat.
Hey, we good? That's what that was. Hey, anything good? Like, no, yeah, I'm cool. So, in case you're wondering, if you get a crotch pat, that might mean something. But this didn't happen at the spot that I went to the other night. What did happen was the woman she was massaging and everything. I never knew what the poles running across the ceiling were for. There are poles parallel to the table that you're laying on above you. She got up there and walked my back with her feet. Damn near moonwalking on my back, like because she had greased my back down, had these oils and stuff, and was like doing have you seen the A Baby slide Cass is doing?
No.
She was basically doing that on my back, up and down my back with her feet. I was like, okay, that's weird. I didn't know that's what those poles were up there for.
Okay. I have had a lot of massages. My best friend that I've known for 43 years is a massage therapist. I've spent many years hanging out with massage therapists, learned a couple of things. I have not yet ever seen the poles running across the top of the ceiling, and any of them say, I walked on somebody's back.
She moonwalked, A Baby walked up and down my back. That's part of the massage. My back.
So was she a small woman?
She wasn't, but she better had been. Yeah, she was small Asian woman. And in fact, I'm 6'5". I would hear her struggle to lift my leg and giggle about it. Like she was like, or picking my arm up and so at the end, like she laughed about it, and I laughed because that was funny. She was having a hard time picking up my limbs. And so at the end, get dressed, I go out to go pay or whatever, and there's another small Asian, even smaller Asian woman is sitting there like, my God, you're so big. I was like, yeah, obviously they had a convo. It had happened before I came out. She was like, this guy was huge.
They were flipping coins. Who wants him?
No, because she didn't see me come in. The woman I paid didn't see me come in.
Oh, okay.
So she saw me as I was coming. I was like, oh, you're so huge. I was like, yeah, well, yeah, I guess that was hard work. That was a workout for the lady, but
Yes.
Shout out to Coco is her name. She's like, that name is Coco. Thank you, Coco. See, her name was Coco.
An Asian massage therapist named Coco.
Yes, sir. It was well worth it.
I'm gonna leave
Give a
that
nice
there.
tip.
I'm just not.
Stop.
I'm just not. I'm not. I'm just not gonna do it.
Well, in any case, that's my massage story.
Well, at least you didn't get your crotch patted this time.
No crotch pad. No, I got walks
That's
on.
fucking hilarious.
Yeah, man. Anyway, appreciate you watching, appreciate you listening, and anybody that's you have any comments and thoughts of what we talked about, please hit us up in the comment section. Share, please do share with your folks and help us grow this Unpoppin community. We appreciate you all, and till next time, peace.
Peace.